don't understand what's going on here.
Give me a break, give me a break.
I don't understand what's going on here.
Give me a break, give me a break.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I said it before and I'll say it again. I said it before and I'll say it again. I said it before and I'll say it again. I said it before and I'll say it again. I said it before and I'll say it again.
I don't understand what's going on here.
Hello, hello, hello! We are back once again. Welcome, chatters. Welcome, racers. We're back with the Revolt Racing League. This time, Division 2. Let's see if the webcam's working. Cool. No guest. Should have had Fat in the booth today. But actually, I put the details on the wrong scene, so swap him back now. We've got some overall standings as we head in today's matches. Going to be headed to a circuit session today. No guests, solo commentary. You know what? It tends to be kind of quiet when the Revolt cars join me in the booth anyways. So, as we can see, it is technically Super who is leading. But our second and third place, TT as well as Taco, both missed the My Race session. So it is going to be a bit askew. Would have loved to have Famous on the microphone. Might be able to convince him by Saturday. But he told me himself he's not the most knowledgeable as far as circuit tracks go. Sorry about that. Still getting my microphone worked out here. That should be good. But as I was saying, we actually are going to have a bit of a skewed results here since two of our top racers didn't make it to that session. Keep in mind, the worst sessions will be dropped. Your worst 3 out of all of these 10 weeks. So we'll get a more accurate picture as it's going on. TT certainly has been a dominant force with 2 wins in the first 2 sessions of the league. Taco with 2 seconds. Ashen picking up a first in the My Race session. And we can actually check out those results as well. TT gonna game tonight is a good question. Shout out to Sima, we'll say Sima. Indeed. We've got Copysoft. Let me make sure. Yep, Copysoft for Netherlands here. I'm assuming that's who you're referring to. I was looking for his name here, but he actually couldn't make it. So he was in 16th for this previous week, but we can see if we pull back up those overall standings. He also has missed 2 sessions, so unfortunate situation for Copysoft, but a strong racer has also been helping out at the RVRL. So, of course, we got some cheers for Super Taco as well, the Polish duo here in Division 2. I'm going to go ahead and be booting up my game so I'm ready to hop straight in. But for the moment, you can peruse those standings. Now, last week was a My Race session. So all the racers chose a session, a track and car combo. And so you can see whether they won their own track or not. Urak did, Epsima did. You can see actually a lot of people did. Ryals actually won Ashen Forest combo, even though Ashen won the session overall. Okay, Tova weighing in, saying Super is he's been training on the checklist. Super is definitely a strong force in the Revolt community, so wouldn't be surprising to see him do well. He's currently first overall, but he's made it to all 3 weeks. He's had good standing so far. We've got a number of Romanians, but no, don't think we have any Belgians. Of course, just saying that because as an American, their flags look kind of similar, not implying that Romania and Belgium have that much in common. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and load into the lobby here. Shout out to Rod, who is gonna be hosting today. So important to have the hosts for our sessions. No Belgiums in the entire league. Oh, we did have, it's been a minute since he's been here, and his name is escaping me. I remember he drove, his name's really just right on the tip of my tongue. I'm picturing, it's not coming to me though. Streamer, I love the Identity X, Floxit, there we go, Floxit. I don't know why that took me so long, but shout out to everybody. Indeed, Inigo, welcome in, Freitas. All right, Sima, Well, we definitely have, is that Hungary? We definitely have some Hungarian races. Kippy comes to mind. We've got some, I think we have Marquito as well. Okay, so in here in the lobby, it's just opened up. I'll go ahead and switch over our scene so y'all can see who has made it into the lobby so far. And, well, cheers, Sima, and shout out to Lampert as well. How you doing? Okay, so we've got people joining the lobby still. So I can go ahead and start jumping into our session. We're here for a circuit session today. We've seen it on Wednesday for Division 3. And to run through once again the format of the session, we're going to be racing on 6 tracks, I do believe. The track list is Darkvale Forest, Green Haze Valley, RV Simo On-Road Track, Ketune Speedway, LS Tama Valley Route B, and to finish us off, Jimson Weeds Raceway made by Zyno. We've also, once again, big thanks to Saf, who made at least Green Haze Valley and possibly, I think, Darkvale Forest too. I'm not entirely sure, but thank you to the track creators. As for cars, there were a plethora of options. First of all, you could go with the trusty Toyota. You also had EXE-TC as an option. Finally, Chimera TC. Now, if you chose any of these 3, you have to stick with that car through the entire session. Meaning if you start Darkvale Forest with the EXE-TC, you have to use the EXE-TC all the way through and end with the EXE-TC on Jimson Weeds Raceway. You have to use it the whole way through. Now, if you wanted a bit more of a variable option, you could also race the trio, which is the Cougar, the Hummer, and the AMV, the AMW. We saw Lopesca go for that in Division 3, racing on the Cougar on more top speed oriented tracks, and the Hummer on more technical tracks. It didn't work out super duper well. We saw Joromu going with the AMW and sticking with it. That didn't work very well either. He did beat a number of racers, but wasn't able to find top positions in the races. Now here today, we've got a lot of EXE-TCs. We also saw a lot of EXE-TCs on Wednesday. A good number of Toyekas out of people who just feel comfortable with it. We've got Ashen on the Chimera TC, and that's about it. How are we feeling about that chat? Okay, oh, we got a lot of people in here. A lot of people who think EXE-TC is the move. Yeah, Inigo went with the Chimera TC, I remember that. And it looked like it was outclassed, I will say. Laggy Rock, sad to see so many customs. Well, I do think that the EXE-TC does have possibly have an advantage here in general. It seemed like it was just a very powerful car. Didn't have many troubles throughout all the tracks. Thank you, Pokers, for the subscription. Adding to our subscription list. Now, I will go ahead and announce to you guys, we have about 19 subscribers for this month. We've raised about $50 for the RVRL prize pool via subscriptions alone. We've got a fat slug, or a very fat emote on the way. I mean, I didn't want to reveal it, but I basically already did when I called it a very fat emote last Wednesday. So thank you to Kippy for that. Very sorry that it's not here yet, but it's on the move, guys. We could also, I think, quite easily turn that subscriber emote into a lightning bolt. So we've got some changes to the channel on the move. Of course, just trying to fill some time here, y'all. We are going to be headed in right when all the racers are ready. Welcome in, Keela. And it does look like we're about ready to head in. The racers are saying GLHF. But yeah, once again, all subscription money that we get from subscribers goes straight into the prize pool. And it's so cool to see so many people willing to do that. So shout out to y'all. We are headed straight in. We see a whole lot of EXCTCs. TT, who has won every session that he's raced in here in the league so far, once again with a blistering fast lead in the very first turns of Dark Vale? Now we got a really important part of the track coming up right here. Very easy to get repoed, as we saw Taco just got repoed. And I think we saw someone else get repoed as well. If you cut over the corners, they will send you right back on this track. You cannot do that on circuit tracks. Super repoing as well. Rod spinning off the track, does regain composure, holds on to third place. We've got Copysoft in second. Rod tipping the corner. We've seen it out of many of our racers by this point. They're still getting used to how it's going. Now, we saw a drastically smaller amount of repos in Division 3, I will say. But I think that this is just a testament to Division 2 trying to milk every single turn for everything that it's got. Super fighting with Riles for fourth. We've got Wurzel nearby Copysoft for second. And TT still holding steady to that first. And let's see the precision with which he handles this double turn. Super tight. He just narrowly dodges any of those repos and continues on his way, making it look so simple. Another big turn right up ahead here. This is the monster section of the track. Those two sequences combined back to back. The rest of it is pretty smooth sailing in comparison. 10 laps in total. TT's nailed 2 laps in a row. Got a 15 meter, 20 meter lead over second as they head into lap number 3. Now moving backfield a bit, we've got Wurzel, Super, still out in fourth. Riles, fifth. ROG driving on mobile phone. Now he does get passed up there, but still strong showing by him. Pokers, Ashen, Epsima, all in the mix here in the midfield. And we'll go ahead and flip back towards the main piece of our show so far, which is this battle between TT and Copysoft. Copysoft has been able to keep TT close throughout it all. TT been showing some really strong technical driving, but Copysoft has the strength to match it. And as first and second continue to break away from the rest of the field, we see a battle for third happening between Wurzel and Super. Now, Wurzel is in the Toyota, whereas Super is in the EXE. You have to be careful about driving on the grass in some of these tracks. Seems pretty fine on this track. An easy overtake by Super there in that double turn, making it look super natural. And as we watch TT and Copysoft, we'll see how they handle this section. Okay, making it look easy. Super and Wurzel headed for it as well. Wurzel slowing down a lot more, but Super losing control entirely, and he's been passed up by Pokers. So now it's a fight for 4th, 5th between them. Riles also in this mix still. ROG, ROD. So we got a lot to watch, but I am going to flip back towards the front because TT and Copysoft are still on for first, second. Copysoft with a much better take on that turn, and they are going to be really close to neck and neck headed into lap 5. Okay. I know we had at least one Copysoft fan in the chat, and we've had some cheers for TT as well. So definitely a battle between two crowd favorites, and they're definitely putting on a show. TT has not made any mistakes yet, but Copysoft has been inching forward, and TT seems to break there on the double section. At least his mental breaks. And as they head to another tricky part of the track, we'll see how TT handles it. He is going to just heavily brake. Sets himself up well, not able to find a pass. And this is a huge time gain for Copysoft on the last lap. And indeed, it gets him some time and some distance there as well, it looks like. So this battle for first is going to continue to rattle on. We've got Wurzel 100 meters back. TT really pushing his limits, scaring me a little bit near those repos, but ultimately gaining on Copysoft. Sure, we can show Taco. Let's watch the double turn first. This has been a tricky portion, especially when the pressure's on. Okay, Copysoft barely emerging out of it, still in first. Let's see this one more turn and then we'll put on Taco. TT fighting for it and he's on the inside. He forces his way in, but he hits that repo. And it is going to force him 20 meters back. Trying to pass too hard. Pokers avoiding the trigger as well. Just barely. ROG nearby. Taco out ninth. So, gonna head back. See how Copysoft and TT are doing. It is TT leading. I really want to watch that Battle of 5 as well, but we've got to watch this technical portion first. And then maybe we'll be able to get another glimpse back there in the 3rd through 5th section. In fact, let's see how close Wurzel is. Super has got about a 15-meter gap behind Wurzel at this point. The two of them lining up super cleanly for that turn, making it look, again, so easy. But if you get in your head about it, you know, kind of like a free throw, if you get in your head about it, it's really easy to start messing that section up. Copysoft scaring me on those tight turns, but continuing his pursuit. And he is really excelling at that turn. That turn in specific is a springboard for him to get back into this fight with TT. TT has got to work on correcting that. He's hit it sometimes, but that seemed like a miss to me. So, Super continuing to try to strike on Wurzel, as has been the case for a while now. Pokers and ROG falling out of that battle just a bit, but Wurzel and Super keeping it going. Time winding down here on our first track with the MotoGP point scoring system. This battle for first second is worth 5 points. It's a huge amount of points. Super has passed up Wurzel. In the meantime, this has been a great area for Copy. Let's see what he can do. TT taking it quite well there as well. Super, the lead over Wurzel. Okay, a momentary control loss there on the EXETC, does regain, and he's playing defensively. Copysoft keeping it close to TT in the meantime. We see Super trying to hold on. I think, like we've said, he might have the advantage over that Toyota now that he managed to get around it. Watching that double turn, Copysoft, boom, on the repo, and that's going to send TT into just free territory. 40 meters left to play Super safe with here on the last lap and a half or so. So Super in the hot seat, up against Wurzel. Okay, Wurzel. And that has all but fallen apart for Wurzel. Wurzel now got ROG and Pokers. ROG managed to pass Pokers. We've got Riles a bit nearby as well. Taco trying to recover a position. And back towards the front, flipping through a bit much, I know. But as you can see, first, second, and third, they've all got about 50 meters. I'm not going to bother to watch them finish this out because we do have some close battles on our hands. ROG and Wurzel, Pokers nearby if either of them mess up, especially through this sort of section. Okay, Wurzel loses a lot of speed on it. ROG maintaining through it. We got another big technical turn up ahead, a double turn. Strange angling. ROG going to go on the inside, trying to block Wurzel off a bit. Not going to happen. We've got one more big turn up ahead. And it is TT. Copysoft. and that will be Super in third. Wurzel finding fourth. ROG not finding any space to do anything with. Epsima and Taco, unless something catastrophic happens, that's locked down as well. And yeah, clean finishes all the rest of the way through. Ashen, the lone Chimera TC, he comes up in 11th on our first race. Good point, Tova. Good point, Keela, as well. That's something that I was alluding to. I wasn't sure exactly how much it was the case on this track, but yeah, you really see when the grass, especially coated like it is on these circuit tracks often, then you really want to avoid the grass. We'll see people drive into it at some points for a bit. For example, LS Tama Valley Route B, they actually use the grass for some of their optimal routing at some points. For some of the other tracks, you'll get really messed up. At Inigo saying Chimera TC in the first two races is a disaster. Yes. Very, very much more top speed style tracks. We got Green Haze Valley, which Zyno informed me is actually not a Gran Turismo track. It's just a Gran Turismo styled track made by SAF. And away we go, headed straight into it. Track 2 of 6 in just a classically styled portion of the track straight away. And into a big U-turn. A downslope right-hand turn is also going to be the main killer here. Combined with a 1-2 punch of right after this tunnel, they're going to go for a jump, and they can easily get repoed if they're not angled for it properly. Right around Rod hitting a repo, but usually not going to catch people off there. It is much more dangerous when you've got super pros, of course, but still, it's going to be a dangerous jump, and we've got Pokers leading as we head into our our second lap. But TT is again just in second, looking like a bat out of hell, as they say. Super finding a pass on Epsima, taking it very tight on the turn. It's kind of catching Epsima up in it, not necessarily Epsima's execution error. Now there was an execution error from Pokers, followed up by a clean pass on the inside from Super on TT, and so Super really looking like Superman in that moment. Just finding a whole lot of positions out of nowhere. Amazing pass. TT still trying to find some gap, and indeed he is going to take that U-turn very tight and powerfully. But down into the downslope turn, let's see who holds on. Yes, TT does go for that routing, which I do believe is the more standard routing, where you kind of just use some of that outside to make sure you don't turn too far. The EXCTC, I think if anywhere it can be a bit finicky there, and we'll get a chance to see that again, but I do think Super might have just had it some oversteer, like loss of handling there. Maybe not the best wording of that, but you could see it for yourself, and let's see if he corrects as he takes a turn another time here. He does just drastically slow down for it instead. Esteban, who did not have a very strong performance on the last track, is sitting in third. We've got Rod and Rog fighting for fourth. Okay, big fight for third. It does look like Esteban gets really crowded out there. ROG and ROD continuing the fight. And it looked like they're... Wow, ROD not slowing down at all. Just going to overtake quite easily. TT scaring me a bit. Continues to be Super out in the lead. But TT looked like he was locked into it with Super before on that downslope turn. I don't believe we have anyone from Hungary here in Division 2. We have Kippy in Division 3. Marquito is in Division 1, I believe, this time around. Congratulations, if that's true. Trying to remember if that's the case or not. So yes, we can see TT taking it on the outside like that. Marquito Division 2, sorry. You know, we got a lot of fucking racers. It's hard to keep every single one of them in order, all right? For example, we have Vesosky here in Division 2. there was a little bit of musical chairs going on. So Super TT is still our front two. Where is Marquito? Exactly. He wasn't here today. I figured he must be Division 1. He is usually showing up to these events. But a different discussion for a different day, because this race continues. And I think we've got even more action behind us. So we've got a lot to cover. Super versus TT for one. This has been continuing on pretty evenly. So flipping backwards, ROD a clean third, ROG and Pokers as well as Copysoft for 4th, 5th, 6th. Esteban nearby. Ed Taco not able to find a very strong performance here either. Ashen, all things considered, in that 9th with the Chimera is doing decently. Wurzel not able to find his footing. And we flip back. Almost just in time to see the overtake by TT, but he does slide a bit too much, and he has to slow down. It does seem like they are taking it. They are taking some of those turns over what would be a trigger. I agree with you, Tova. Yes, exactly, Tova. Well said. Super having a bit of a lapse of judgment for a little bit, maybe losing some focus as he kind of just veers off to the left, starts wall riding for a bit. Now TT not having the cleanest ascension turn, so it's not going to matter too much, but is Super focused in is the question in my mind as we head into lap 10. TT going to continue hauling ass, about 10 meters behind, continuing to do all he can to catch Super, as Super is out in the grass on that turn, and it has given TT about 8 meters there. Okay, neck and neck, headed into the dissension turn, a pretty scary place to be. Definitely if they lag boost each other, it could be anyone's game. TT does just block Super out there and takes first, and it's been kind of a long held situation where Super was keeping TT at arm's length, but all it took was driving in the grass here, taking this turn way too wide, and it gave TT the opportunity there on the pass, and he takes it. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick, for that confirmation. But TT not having the best ascension, and Super is right there on it, maybe trying to force a lag boost. I think we honestly kind of saw TT doing something similar, so I don't really hold it against him. But it is an interesting tactic. I don't know if they're trying to just get ahead or make the other lose control or what's going on there. Strategically, I'm going to flip through for a bit. We see ROG and Taco fighting it out pretty far up midfield, about 5th place position. Okay, TT taking that a bit too, because you can kind of throw caution to the wind on that turn when you take it to the outside like that. But you got to be careful about really slamming the car too much. He does get bailed out. We're on lap 13 of 17. TT continuing to hold Super's feet to the fire. And I know Super has got to be feeling the pressure here. The laps continue to count down, but he just can't seem to shake off TT. Another big turn. Excellent execution by the both of them. Of course, Super is in a great position where even if he doesn't have the best turn, he can still try to block TT. Simple racing stuff that we all know and we all love. TT on the inside. Oh my, TT is just firing on all cylinders today. I mean, he's making, and he has been for the whole league. I think we can agree. He's certainly not out of the woods yet, but another excellent execution on the downslope. Super being left in the dust just a bit here. If we can get some more clean driving out of TT, he could be looking at a dub. Who has the better lap? 34.769 for TT, 34.792 for Super. So TT by a slim margin. And while we have a second, let's go ahead and see our standings. ROG 5th, Taco 6th, Esteban, Pokers fighting for 6th. Ashen, Epsimo, Wurzel, and Ryal is fighting for the back position. So it does seem once our race concludes up front, we'll have some interesting races a bit further back. But for the moment, all eyes have got to be on this duel between TT and Super that continues on. Lap 16 of 17, they've got exactly 2 laps to go. And we'll see if Super's able to make anything happen. So far, it's mostly been TT who seems like he's been coming up with the magic as far as the pacing and the angling. But Super taking a bit of a unique angle on the U-turn and not looking bad by any means. TT feeling the pressure, and that is something that I wondered about. Will TT be able to lock it down once the pressure continues to mount and those laps tick down? Super went very, very many laps in a row without having any major downturn issues there. But TT was only able to manage a few laps out there in the front before he fell down. And this is the final lap here. I don't know if TT is going to be able to catch Super, but Rod versus Copysoft, this has certainly emerged into a battle. I thought it was Copysoft out in third, so this might have been a pass by Rod here. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but we've got a couple turns up ahead. We'll see. And 40 meters for Super. I think he's got locked down. Let's see how they do. Rod versus Copysoft in the final turns of our second track. Fighting for third, another big bundle of points on the line. Copysoft trying to find it, but Rod with some excellent defensive driving, and he does block off any hopes that Copysoft had. Now, this group back here is finishing up their race as well, so not much to see, but we've got a little bit here in the back. Epsima looks like he passed up Riles there in one of the final turns. Wish I could have been quicker on the draw there. I could have got y'all a bit more of the action, but it is Epsima who's not very happy there about the last few laps there, I suppose. Ends up in 10th. Meanwhile, Super, TT, and Rod is our podium. Let me go ahead and pull up our live standings for y'all since we have a second. Now, the standings should be pretty obvious, I suppose, but why not show off technology? You know what I mean? We're living in the modern age, and we love to do that sort of thing. So here we go. We're going to hop right to it. Now, this program was made by Airtsu. Let's see. Don't think that's quite updated because I didn't press the enter button after I did that. There we go. Our updated standings. TT with 45. Super with 41. Copysoft with 33. Rod and Rog 24, 22. Wurzel nearby with 20. Poker's 19. So much more of a battle for the midfield. Whereas Super and TT really making a statement right out the gate. And now we are 1/3 of the way through the session. We've done 2 tracks. We've got 4 left to go. Let's see how it continues on. We've got RV Simo on-road track. Once we finish this track, we will be halfway through our races. And this is a classic track. I wouldn't say it's as classic as something like Keitsune, but whenever it makes an appearance, it's usually a showstopper. There is so much that you have to be focusing on for this track. Someone like Ashen Forest in the Chimera TC is going to enjoy this track. It's so technical. We're not going to see very many top speed moments at all. It's very technical, very punishing, and if you're too slow, get out of the way because you're just going to be in the way for these people who are lapping you and can't get around you. So it is really just one of those, you know, if you can't hang, then just move to the side kind of tracks because the people who do know what's going on in this track are going to be trying to squeeze every single turn. Poker is emerging as our leader for the moment, but there has been a lot of pushing behind him. ROG, ROD, Super, TT, Ashen, all nearby. Ashen in that Chimera, like we mentioned. We can put the spotlight on him. He hasn't had it on him so far, but this is the kind of track that Chimera TC, if it's going to excel anywhere, it'll be a track like this, and just look at how much more control Ashen has over the turning as he passes 2 for 1 headed into lap 3, and Pokers tries to fight him too hard on the inside, flips over on the upslope there of one of those little curbs. Ashen curbing as well, but he emerges out of it. ROG keeping it super close in the EXCTC. TT out in third. How we doing, Tara? Welcome in. Okay, now keep in mind, 27 laps on this track. I do believe this is our quickest track as far as individual single lap time is. So you've really got to stay tuned in on this track. In fact, we saw Ashen have a quick blunder. He has been the only person in the lobby with the Chimera, and so he is able to recover from situations like that. But ROG on the mobile phone, been putting in work. Let's see a little bit further backfield. We got ROD, TT, Copysoft. TT trying to get out of this group so that he can try to continue on his reign of first place finishes. But as this group stays congested and clogged up, it's just going to continue to eat at his time. We've got Super in the mix as well. Super has come in second at every race today, so he's trying to get out of this congestion as well. ROD, Copysoft hanging on, but it does look like Super has the better lines. He finds a pass for 1, and in fact, I think someone just had a made. There's ROG. Oh my. And that was our, I think, our second place. TT and Super still neck and neck, as they have been. Okay, true. It was Super on the last one. I stand corrected, but TT and Super have been first and second, okay? And they're going to try and make it happen again. They just can't seem to get around all these other cars. I mean, you can tell TT and Super just seem like they have the pace advantage on this track as well, but they just can't get around these other cars, and you can tell TT is getting a little bit frustrated by it. Ashen has escaped from the pack 80 meters out. ROG holding on to a respectable third place, but he's kind of all over the place at this point. And TT is way back in 7th. Super, in the meantime, has snagged second and is holding on to it. Copysoft has fallen out of that battle, so this could really be the moment that Super needed. And he is going to break away. I don't expect him to make any mistake that's going to cost him 30 meters. Just some good, safe driving here. As long as these people are grouped up, TT has got about 3 people that he needs to pass if he wants to keep it close with Super after this race ends. In the meantime, Ashen's lead mounting to over 100 meters over Super. We are approaching the halfway point. Not quite done with it yet. We saw TT out in 7th. I'm sure he'd be quite happy with a 3rd, but he's taking it too aggressively, and he hits a red X. That's going to be the nail in the coffin for TT. Maybe not the perfect expression there, and the reason why is because TT has been so tenacious that I expect him to be able to claw back a number of positions on this track, and I also expect him to be able to overcome a single low place finish. So not quite a nail in the coffin per se, but is definitely going to be hurting TT. And it will, this situation, this one moment here on RV Simo is going to continue to haunt him even as he continues the second half of these tracks today. Now ROD rather, almost having a mirror situation of TT, another nightmare red X scenario, but he somehow avoids the pitfall that TT fell into. Now TT, like we said, he's been doing some recovery work. He's found 2 positions. He's passed up Wurzel. He's passed up Riles. He's trying to pass up ROG as well. Esteban moved to Spec. Thank you for clarifying that. I saw that the colors change. Now TT, this hasn't been his best track, and he's continued to have a couple moments where you wonder. Meanwhile, Pokers and Rod fighting it out for 4th. We've got Copysoft and Super. Super has not been able to escape Copysoft. Of course, Ashen 150 meters out in the lead at this point. So likely some mistakes out of Super. Esteban had a red X. Yes, we've seen other racers with red X on this track. Hate that that happened, but it does happen here on RV Simo. Meantime, Copysoft is not done. We've seen Super in the more leadership position, typically, over Copysoft. It's really been just him. The only person who's really been challenging Super has been TT. But Copysoft is not letting this 2nd place go. And guess what? We're only on lap 21 of 27. So Copysoft has got a lot of ground left to work with. And if he keeps driving like this a little bit too aggressively, Super does get implicated by it as well. So it's going to be all right. And Copysoft is right back up in his business. So again, a race that's tough to look away from now that we're locked onto it. I'm sure that there's other stuff going on too. This has been a super heated track, but look at Copysoft. He finds it, but will he hold on to it? Really just out of nowhere. On the inside, slowing down, letting Super go past, and then finding that strangled thorn grip. There it is. He's bested Super. Now the question is, will he be able to hold on to it? Because previously he was able to follow Super's line. So if his line, if Copysoft's best line is just following Super's line, Super may still have an opportunity here. We'll have to see how Copysoft can do now that he's the one who's running and Super is the one who's chasing. Starting here on lap 25 of 27, running out of time for Super. Copysoft continuing on that 10-meter edge. Now, it does look like we have a moment, so let's see how the rest of the race is going on. Pokers, Rod, TT out in 6th. He has not been able to do as much recovery as he hoped, but we see Rod launching over the curb, so it is possible that he could still find a position or two based on the nerves of the racers ahead of him. But we are on lap 26 to 27, Super too tight on the turn, but Copysoft also pretty wide on the turn. And they stay neck and neck through this twisty, turvy. I think there's a series of tracks called Sideways Sanctuary, and I think that this track would be very fitting as a Sideways Sanctuary as well. In fact, it might have been originally named that. I don't think it was, though. We got to focus in, though. Last lap here, Copysoft versus Super. The battle for second continues, and that curb is going to be the final call. Copysoft 30-meter lead as he heads into just the final straightaway. Copysoft beating out Super. Good news for TT. TT was also able to pass up Rod. He couldn't pass up Pokers, but he finishes out in 5th. And TT diffused a very precarious scenario. That was definitely a bomb that could have blown up in his face if he was not able to find some more passes and Super didn't fall back and lose 4 points there. Okay, so if you made it this far, you made it to the halfway point. Welcome in Formulator. We are headed to the second half of our tracks. We've got K-Tune Speedway, we got LS Tama Valley Route B, and we've got Jimson Weeds Raceway. So, a couple of circuit classics coming up, as well as one of the newer circuit tracks made by Zyno. Not a particularly new track, But like I've said, we don't get a ton of circuit tracks in and out, so always good to see one of the newer tracks making an appearance. Now, since I seemingly have got a second, I like to, since we've only got 6 tracks here, I'd like to check the scores after every single game. So let's give it a go. Not for too long, but just to check it out. 1 point lead for Super over TT. After the mayhem that ensued on the previous track, it was really unsure how the points were going to be divvied up. And in the end, even though it wasn't a first and second place finish for Super and TT, the scores stay very close. Thank you to Nick. We also have Copysoft with 53. So Copysoft is not out of the running but for first by any means. Exactly, Tova. Copysoft has joined the party. I got you, Nick. I'm learning this technology. It's all over for you hoes. Once I become a tech nerd, it is over for you hoes. So we got Rod, Ashen Forest, and Pokers, and ROG, all within about 3 points of each other. But as you can hear from the engine noises, we are here on Kitsune. A favorable starting position for Riles and Wurzel. We'll see how long they're able to hold on to it. They do have the lead headed in, but we see our shark, one of our sharks, 2 of our sharks, Super and Copysoft, all 3 of our sharks are all grouped up here already after the initial turns, and they're all 3 headed for Wurzel and Riles. There's blood in the water, and they're going to start with a feast on Wurzel and Riles, and they'll figure out what to do with each other after it's done. Wurzel has been passed up, and Super even going to say, get the hell out of my way, Wurzel, and just push him over to the side. Now we got a big turn coming up. We'll see how the racers handle it. Riles going to get pushed way off into the bleachers, and it's going to be Copysoft, TT, and Super, our trio of people with 50 plus overall scores as we head into Kitsune. They're all 3 right here in the front 3 after 3 laps. That's all it took. Wurzel is not out of this conversation yet. He's wedging himself between TT and Super. Okay. And Wurzel continues to put up a fight. Wurzel with some slick wall ride power. And it does look like TT and Copy. Now, I've been wrong about a lot of things today, and an especially large amount of them today. So feel free to correct me, but I do believe this would be Copysoft's first dub. Wait, I'm gonna look really stupid because he just won one, right? I am all over the place today. But regardless, we've got Copysoft and TT. Let's live in the moment. How about that, chat? Can we just agree to live in the moment for a little bit? Don't talk to me, okay? Let's focus in on the moment. No chat. Relax. Let's focus in on the moment. We've got Copysoft. No, guys, really. We've got Copysoft and TT out in first. Fighting it out, 20-25 meters for Super, and Super looked like he was still in the mix here. So we got Riles, Ashen, Wurzel, Rod, all holding Super very accountable, and TT doing the same, trying to find the inside pass. Copysoft leading us out. Certainly not the person that we expected to be in this position. If you were looking at the overall standings, Copysoft is quite low. He wasn't able to make it to 2 of the sessions, and he wasn't able to make it to that turn either because he was very far on the outside. So we've got TT trying to seize the day, and indeed he will, but for how long? Oh my, TT! Keeping Copysoft behind. Copy going for an insider, but it's not going to work out. He's going to be stuck behind as they head through this top speed portion into a very tricky turn. There is the opportunity for shenanigans here, but they're not going to go for it. Kaprizov not going to go for any aggressive dive bombing, but he is going to hit TT's fender at a strange angle and lose 2 positions just like that. Right behind Super, and guess what? We've got Ashen here as well, who is performing in that Chimera TC out of his mind. We'll see if he's able to find a podium here on K-Tune. We're on lap 9 of 21. Believe it or not, I think it's less about a bottle and more about a lack of coffee. Which I am rectifying right this very moment, I can assure you. In the meantime, though, these racers don't have that opportunity because they're locked and loaded here on K-Tune Speedway. We've got Super, we've got Ashen, we've got Copy. Battling it out for second. Ashen, surprisingly effective in that Chimera. Of course, he's going to lose a lot here on the top speed sections, but it's not going to be anything too major. And he finds the inside turn, but can he hold on to it? Indeed, it looks like he can. We're watching from Kaprizov's perspective, but all the action is here on Ashen as he finds that slick overtake on Super, who is leading our session by 1 point. Wow! Wow! Out of nowhere, Kaprizov says, hell no. Super completely off the track. Hard to exactly tell if that was Super or Copy or a mixture of both, but he certainly had some physics issues once the problem started. Because he just got completely flung off the map. And rather than something that maybe he could have recovered from, lost about 10, 15 meters, it is going to be a massive 30, maybe even 40 meter loss. Nothing that Super can't overcome, but he's certainly been struggling to find the positions on this track specifically. He hasn't been able to break away from the crowd, and so that's going to be Super in a pretty dire situation. We've got Wurzel Poker's Rod for 5th, 6th, 7th. And let's head back to the front. TT, Ashen, Kaprizov. RVA boys, let's go. Latino America is in the house. And TT is the torchbearer. The great part about being a commentator from America, specifically the US, is that I don't really have a dog in this hunt because literally no one else from my country races on this game in any capacity. So it's like I don't have to worry about being unbiased. It just comes naturally. But I do have to say, I love my RVA boys. It's great to see TT doing so well. Pokers versus Wurzel. This is far from over. We're on lap 17 of 21. ROD out in 7th. This is still a 3-way battle that's on our hands. And I think this may be a good spot to see how it's going. At least for this turn, Pokers tries it. He gets flung around towards the pit stop area, the Joker lap kind of area. He does fall behind Rod as well. So as we go back towards the front, I was incredibly incorrect when I said that that was our hottest match of the track, because we've got a very hot and spicy one right here in front of us for first place. TT and Ashen continuing. TT in the EXCTC. Ashen, the only Chimera TC driver of today. I would like a World Cup. I would love to see a World Cup type deal. I would love a World Cup type deal. And we got someone taking their Joker lap. Esteban taking the Joker lap there. Oh, okay. I wonder who remembered to take their Joker lap here on Kitsune. We are here on lap 20 of 21. And, eyes are glued in on TT versus Ashen. He's been trying to find those little windows of opportunity, and in fact, I think he had a very good one right there, but he let it pass in a way. He's going to be on the inside here, but not very well set up for the turn. He spins around, is able to recover, not without a couple of meters lost, but headed into the final lap. It's certainly not done yet. It's going to be tough, but Ashen just a little bit too excited up on the corners here and there, and it's not going to be what it takes to pass TT. We've got one more major turn on our hands. Okay, and it's going to be TT taking another one. Copysoft in third, a respectable finish. Super out in fourth. TT is going to be very happy with this, especially at the fact that Ashen Forest wedged himself in between TT and the other racers that he's in direct conflict with in the overall standings. In the meantime, it is Rod who won out in that battle for fifth. We had, I think, Rod, Wurzel, Pokers. And in fact, I think we might have even had ROG, or maybe it was Super who was mixed up in them. But Super did escape out to fourth place by the end of it. Taco with another shoddy showing here in 11th. And I say that because my expectations for Taco are quite high. So I was hoping to see a bit more out of him. But, some people prefer circuits more than others. It's that simple. I agree with you, Tova. Always good to see someone picking a car that isn't really in line with the rest of the field and able to make it work. We saw it with the Emperor earlier on. We were seeing it here with Ashen on the Chimera TC. And he also was really outmatched car-wise on the first two tracks. So that's important to note. We've got TT, 81 points, 11 points out in the lead. That's pretty much, if TT comes in first twice and Super comes in second twice, from this position, TT will win. Well, okay, hold on. Let me say it in a different way. If TT gets second twice and if Super gets first twice, then Super will not have enough points to pass TT. TT will still be winning by 1 point because you would get 5 points for both of those first places for Super over TT. So that gives you a glimpse of just how well TT is doing as we head in. We've got Super and Copysoft, 1 point differential between them, and Ashen a bit of a ways back. So we are headed into our next track. Things are winding down. We've got LS Tema Valley Route B, and then we got Jimson Weeds, and that's it. Now you can get a massive red X right at that section of the track, and if you do, it's really going to destroy your race. We've got Pokers and Wurzel in the lead, but TT, you can tell, has got a great angle here through that narrow section into the double U-turn, and he's going to be leading as we head into the second lap of our track. Copysoft, who has been in the trio fighting for first, he is once again putting on a strong showing, already out in second place in the first few turns, and as TT loses a bit of stability, he inches just a little bit closer. Yeah, if TT won twice, I can honestly say I think he would probably win. Thank you, Amma, for illuminating how logical of a point that was. But we do have TT and Copysoft continuing. Copysoft looks so clean through that section, but he does get a little bit worried about getting repoed or getting a red X, so he does slow down just a bit. Evens it back out with TT. We've got Ashen in the Chimera, once again making it work here. Out in third place, nothing to scoff at for sure. And TT is looking a little bit less confident than Copysoft to me, at least in these initial laps. Looking a bit further backfield, Ashen, Wurzel, Super. So Super If Super is not able to put in some serious recovery, we've got ROG fighting him as well. This could be a very troublesome position for Super. It really goes without saying. TT all off the track. He even gets a red X. He falls behind Ashen. And this track can be catastrophic. It really can be. Of course, that was kind of his own doing. It wasn't necessarily because of the track. But I think he got repoed pretty far back there. And Copysoft, I think our sole Netherlands representative here in the RVRL, putting on a strong performance. And especially if Ashen got second place and forced TT into third, this would be a very troublesome position for TT. It would really change the tides as we head into the final track. But it's not done yet, and TT has been nothing if not a powerful force. Not just in this session, but in the league overall here in Division 2. He's been somewhat of a menace, and so I would be surprised if he didn't put on some serious pressure to Ashen, just like he has been over the past lap or two. Welcome in. Good to have you here. Yes, Pokers is representing France. And let's see if we can't get the camera a little bit further back as well. But it's really hard to look away from this battle between Ashen and TT. Ashen doing a lot of blocking. TT not looking super polished on this track compared to some of the other tracks, I will say. And Copysoft is really starting to run away with it here on lap 7 of 18. Wurzel, ROG, where is Super? Wurzel, Super is done. Super is done. Super and Taco are both done. Okay, so it is going to be Super falling out of the running for first place entirely. Pokers not with an outstanding performance, but he's still got a couple of positions he can catch here with some consistent driving. He could catch Esteban, Rod, even ROG and Wurzel, because they are locked into an intense battle here for fourth. But meanwhile, we've got Ashen and TT for second, and Copysoft continuing his breakaway in first. TT finds the pass right when we look back, but will he be able to hold it through this turn? I just don't know. It will be a little bit up on the curb, and fighting Ashen through this narrow section, it's a really risky endeavor, and we are going to see him holding on to control. TT is not Polish, he is Argentine. Wow, really good stuff as we see TT on the overtake. Really just perfect timing for that. As we see TT, our representative from Argentina, find the overtake. Specifically not Polish, I will say. My bad for calling him that. Yeah, maybe they ran out of battery power. They're racing on their Nintendo DS and they lost the stylus. Always hate when that happens. We have TT and Ashen Forest. Continuing. All you can really say about it. Now keep in mind, what we said was if TT gets second place twice and Copysoft or Super gets first twice, that's not enough points to beat TT. So Ashen is going to be continuing to try to fight here. And TT, like I said, we won't say polished, we'll say clean. Not looking the cleanest on this track specifically. I've got my coffee. I'm good. I'm locked in here, Kippy. No worries. In the meantime, though, TT is really worrying me here. I'm trying to have no worries in my life, but TT keeps giving me them with the way he is currently driving here on LS Tama Valley Route B, because this very much gives Ashen a window to pass him, and if that happens, TT is not going to be looking very safe headed into Jimson Weeds. And we all know what happens once pressure starts building up. We all know what happens. Yes, Maddie, indeed. Some cars are going to ideally wall ride, but he simply might not realize that that's the best route. We saw it on the Cougar in the last race in Division 3. We haven't seen it here today. Yeah, got a Perma X, and that happens on this track too. Oh, and we got some racers weighing in the chat on their strategy. Now, I don't know about that move for Ashton. He's really losing so much speed, going for such a severe speed drop into the turn on Camara. I would really like to see maybe something else, like one of the things that y'all are suggesting here. It is RIP session for Super, but definitely not out of the woods here as far as the battle between TT and Copy goes. Especially with Copy looking to be so far ahead, he's looking like he's got a first place lockdown. In the meantime, we also had a very locked and loaded battle for midfield. So ROD and Wurzel, and we got Esteban and Pokers as well that we need to stay checking in on. But really, this TT and Ashen battle, TT has been looking so steady, but you do wonder, is a breaking point around the corner? Because this has definitely been TT's shakiest track so far. So I'm really hesitant to look away while we've only got 2 laps left, even though it does look like TT will be taking the second place. So I know that some people might have wanted to watch some other of these battles, but simply put, this one is too impactful to turn our eyes from. And we are headed into lap 18 of 18. Ashen really far inside, gets a red X. He's just going to be fighting to hold on to third at this point, and it is going to be TT running away with it. In the meantime, Esteban and Pokers still locked in. Rod and Wurzel somewhat, but let's check out Pokers versus Esteban. And it is Copysoft taking that one. TT out in second. Ashen in third. A tricky narrow section here. ROG fifth. Wurzel sixth. Wurzel in sixth. Yeah, I think that's right. And Pokers finishing it out in seventh. Esteban eighth. Riles going for that wall ride. And Maddie, you're not the first person to say that this track isn't their favorite. I will say, there has to be a most liked and a least liked track in pretty much every session that we do. That's just the nature of having selection. But I will say that track has been a killer for some people. And it was a very, very literal killer for our boy Super on that race. So we're going to go ahead and head over to the scores. I think that is going to be, like we mentioned, basically Super dropping out of that battle entirely. Ashen going to be trying to pass him up. I think Super is still in the lobby. Okay, he left the lobby as well. So he is just going to be ceding third place to Ashen as well. We've got TT. Six-point lead over Copysoft as we head into Jimson Weed. So if TT comes in second and Copysoft comes in first, he's still safe. He's safe. I'm sorry, I miscalculated once again. It is a 7-point lead over Copysoft. So as we head into the final track, any more close races to keep in mind? Pokers and ROG. And then also we've got Wurzel nearby in that as well. So Pokers, ROG, Wurzel, keep in mind that trio of racers as well as far as midfield goes. But our main battle to watch is all TT and Copysoft. And Copysoft gets a pole position, but trading out with ROG. He's still decently all right. More collisions coming out. Going to be catching some unsuspecting victims off guard. ROD almost too far on the inside there. Almost gets a repo, but doesn't quite get it. Copysoft keeping it close. TT neck and neck. But it is Ashen who has been pretty much the most powerful force in the lobby besides TT and Copysoft. And he continues to make a statement here. Pokers as well. Now remember, Pokers is in that trio that we're locked into. I believe it was ROG, Pokers, and Wurzel. So this will be great for Pokers as well. In fact, if Pokers got first or second, he might even be able to pass Super. Copy sending Super though, or I'm sorry, sending Pokers way off the track as he slides into second, but he has a 180 of his own, falling back. Oh my! And keep in mind, Copysoft is in the attacking position, whereas TT is defending. And TT, despite being in that defending position, he's fighting for first. And he takes first by a large margin out of nowhere over on that Chimera TC. Pokers is going to be holding on to third. My thoughts exactly, Maddie. So Poker is going to be hoping to win out a number of positions if he can lock down the second place. So all eyes on Pokers, all eyes on TT, and see if they're able to bring some consistent and powerful driving. They're here on lap 4 of 16. They've got about 4 times the amount of track that they've already raced. They've got about 4 times that to go until they're done. More than that, actually. Copysoft, meanwhile, in 4th. He's done some recovery work, but he's got a whole lot left to put in if he hopes to be a relevant force in this. And not just that, he's also got to get another driver wedged between him and TT. It's no easy task. There's obviously no teaming up with other drivers, so it's not like he can call anybody in and say, hey, let's speed boost each other and get ahead of TT together. It's just obviously clearly blatantly not allowed, and I will catch you doing it, and so you'll just look really stupid, and it's not that easy anyways. So TT is just really breaking away. 40 meters. I mean, what else can you really say? It certainly looks like it's a case closed for me. Of course, when the situation looks the most over, that is kind of when people start to make these ridiculous, absurd errors that lose them way more time than it should ever lose them. Now Pokers, he does lose a position to Copy. Okay, there it is. Could it be the anime villain, the main character arc, or Copysoft and Pokers? They train together. And they topple TT. Is this what we're looking at? It's certainly going to take a monumental effort. And it's, like I said, no teamwork, but they're both going to have to come through, and TT is going to have to choke. 50 meters. We can keep in mind the battle between Wurzel, Pokers, and ROG, because we got ROG right here in Poker's rear view. So Poker's maybe getting a little bit too comfortable. He had some shaky ground there on the previous lap, and ROG coming out of the shadows to take third. He's TT for a reason. There it is, Freitas. And with the wreck out of Pokers, it's looking like ROG is going to be the winner of that trio. I would like to say that I'm calling it too soon, but you've got to, you got to be honest. These drivers have been really, really clean. Like, sure, there have been some mistakes here and there, but there really hasn't been too many major mistakes across this entire session today. Am I crazy to say that? Maybe I'm crazy to say that, but I just feel like these racers have really, really been doing quite well. Even ROG playing on his mobile phone, he's just got insane precision out here in third place, playing from Cuba on his mobile phone. I'm just in awe at how well the racers have been able to drive today. It was a tight battle for third. For third to first. It was very unfortunate to see the situation play out for Super as it did, and I am speaking a bit too soon because ROG is out in the grass momentarily, but doesn't matter that much. I mean, Ashen's not really the guy he's trying to beat. He's trying to beat Pokers and Wurzel. Pokers not letting this conversation come to an end yet. Oh my. Wurzel finds the pass. Oh my. And ROG is wedged between two cars. We'll see what he's able to do. We're starting here on lap 10. I want to tune in to see how TT is doing. But ROG, all right. And as you can see, even if Copysoft were to pass TT, there's still 100 meters of distance between first and third currently. So might be premature in saying it, but congratulations to TT. This is not a Caster Curse moment. I'm not trying to Caster Curse. If you think I am, that's honestly disgusting. I can't believe you would accuse me of that. I'm simply trying to wish TT congratulations on a race well raced, honestly. So I'm not trying to Caster Curse for some last minute crazy action. That's not what I'm trying to do. And just, congratulations to TT. In the meantime, though, in a much more serious manner, this battle between ROG, Pokers, and Wurzel is still very much on. We've got Wurzel trying to find it. I'll even do a very quick cut to the standings since this matters so much. We've got Pokers 50, ROG 49, Wurzel 47. So keep that in mind as these three fight for 5th, 6th, 7th. Yeah, sorry about the jump scares. It's one of the features of the stream. Okay, we're here on lap 12 of 16. ROG holding steady, hoping to finish it out. Now keep in mind, Copysoft has kept it quite close to TT. I won't say super close. He's 50 meters back. But Ashen has fallen back to 100 meters behind Copysoft. We do have ROG still going strong. Okay. All it takes is one little lapse like that, and Wurzel's on the pass. ROG, some aggressive driving. Say, get the hell out of my way. You think you can just take that position from me? No, sorry. I don't care if it's a circuit race. I don't care what it is. It could be a no push race. Get out of my way. Okay, Rod with the wreck. And this battle is still very much on. We've got Wurzel in the Toyeka. He's in the thick of it with Rod. And Pokers is only 20 meters back. So it may not be a battle for first, but it's certainly a hype three-way as we're headed into that lap 15 with lap 15 and then lap 16 left to go, and we'll be done. We will see just how far my curse can reach with this session, for sure. I'm going to check back in. So it does look like situation as normal. We have ROG up ahead in 4th. We've got Wurzel in 6th. Pokers in 7th. Rod chilling in between. I don't think Rod really has much of a dog in this. But I think if Rod got passed by Wurzel and Pokers, it's possible he could get passed by ROG. But anyways, we're headed into the final lap here. This is a very tricky part of the track, so we'll see how they're able to handle it. It looked like Pokers was on the outside a bit there, not quite able to hit the ideal angle. Meanwhile, ROG approaching Ashen, but I don't think he necessarily cares about this pass very much. I mean, maybe if he passes Ashen, he could find Rod in the overall scores. He's certainly angling for it. We'll see if he's able to bring it home. He's against that Chimera, so he's got the speed advantage. He's going to whip it through. He is a little bit losing speed, so that is going to be Ashen. Yeah, Poker's out in 7th. So I think that's ROG, Wurzel, Pokers for that battle for midfield. Okay, so I a bit of an anticlimactic situation by the end of it because of Super dying there on RV Simo. So that sucks. But we did have some action there at the end of it. So I'm going to get you all the final standings here. And let's head over to the scores. That was the end, Esteban. So TT taking it, 126 points. Copysop out in 2nd. Ashen able to lock down 3rd. Super, despite not racing on Jimson Weeds, he's still found 4th. 1 point over Rod. Oh my, I know Rod hates that. Wasn't quite able to find 4th place. ROG, Pokers, Wurzel. So even with even with Wurzel finishing ahead of Pokers on the final track, we had Pokers beating out Wurzel in the overall session. So that was Pokers in, I think, 7th and Wurzel in 8th. And then we had Riles, Esteban, Taco, and Epsima who dropped out early. Taco also had a red X problem. Rod, it does seem like a lot of the sessions go that way, not just for you, but kind of people in general. So that is it for today's session. We had Division 2 of Week 4, and we're going to be back tomorrow at the same time, 19 UTC with Division 1. So, if you enjoyed the action, be even more excited tomorrow because it is our hypest division. No offense. Honestly, that's not even true because it really comes down to how evenly matched the races are, and all 3 divisions are superly even matched. So I actually think people would have their own opinions on which division they like the most. It's not just necessarily Division 1, but we definitely got unarguably the best racers in Division 1, and we know that because they qualified to do it that way. So once again, I want to give a massive shout out to all of the subscribers currently in the chat. We've got a lot of them. I think there's 18, 19 of y'all for the month. Again, that's $50 going into the prize pool, all because y'all press that subscribe button. Now, I know I've been lacking on the updates to the channel, so I promise right when I press in stream, I'm going to get the emote thing figured out, why it's not there yet. And I'm also going to try to change our subscriber thing to the little Revolt power up thingy. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow. Also, if you're a fan of endurance, we've got the Revolt Endurance Championship on Sunday, and that the main race starts at 19:30, but we've got qualifications leading up to that. So it'll probably be about 18:40-19. No, I don't think that's the issue, Kippy. I think I'll be able to figure out the proper sizing, and if I do have issue with that, then I will message you and let you know. But I think it should be no problem, and thank you again for making that. If anybody else enjoys making emotes or wants to make any kind of graphic or emote or whatever, you can make it of literally anything. We've got a lot of emote slots, and I'm not the physical art guy. It's not really what I do. And I don't know. I haven't really done it. So please, if more people want to jump in with that, feel free. It doesn't need to be crazy good, but a honk emote, that would be fun. It can be whatever. And but yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have those improvements to the stream. Thank you all again for monetarily supporting the league and for really, just elevating it. Because I know at the same time, we care about just proving who's the best, and the money doesn't matter, but the money's cool at the same time, right? It's a cool thing. So, it's very cool to see, and we'll be back tomorrow. So, see you next time. Thank y'all for joining. Yeah, cheers.